Agents Council of Zimbabwe regulates the property sector in terms of the Estate Agents Council to weed out unscrupulous players and in the process protecting members of the public from being fleeced. Hello and welcome to Business Brief. I am Makanaka Masenyama. Today on the program, we're going to discuss what the public needs to know on buying properties. Misuse of trust funds and rogue estate agents who sell properties on behalf of clients and convert the money to their own use has been reported more often in Zimbabwe. There are also cases whereby an agent can sell a property to more than one buyer. Of late, there have also been cases of agents selling properties without permission from the owners, and some agents have also been daring to the extent of selling non-existent properties. On this program, EA says that Chairperson Mr. Nicodemus Kuipa will explain to us what one needs to know when buying properties, especially land.
Jerusalem, Ikayalami.
Mr. Kuipa, our viewers would want to know, what is Estate Agents Council of Zimbabwe?
Thank you very much for having me for this conversation. The Estate Agents Council of Zimbabwe, which we shorten as EACZ, is a statutory or regulatory body set up by an Act of Parliament to regulate the registration and practice of estate agents in Zimbabwe. It becomes important to spell out what the practice of estate agents in Zimbabwe is. Estate agents practice involves two principal activities, which is the sale of properties on behalf of members of the public, and secondly, the management of properties again on behalf of members of the public. So those two items are the pivot in terms of the practice of estate agents in Zimbabwe: property sales and property management.
Okay, so having said that, how does one become an estate agent?
Thank you. One becomes an estate agent through the route of writing examinations, which are set by the Estate Agents Council. And in addition to that, one needs to have proof that they have, for a period of 3 years prior to seeking registration, been working under a registered estate agent. So you need to be able to show that you have got the requisite experience, which is 3 years, having been working under a registered estate agent. So those two things, the qualification side and the experience side.
Okay, so you're talking about writing examinations. Where are these examinations written and who coordinates these examinations?
Thank you. As a statutory body, the Estate Agents Council has got the mandate and power to set examinations and administer these to people who will be interested in writing them. So these examinations are written twice a year, normally in July and in October. And mainly there are 4 subjects, which include bookkeeping, estate agents practice, and one is required to pass these at one sitting. If you fail to pass them at one sitting, you are deemed to have failed and you'll be required to rewrite the following year.
Okay, so after writing these examinations, does one get a certificate, or what is issued out so that when one wants to buy a property, they will see that these people have qualified?
Yes. At the end of when one has gone through the examination process and has proved that they've got requisite experience, we then register them at the Estate Agents Council and issue out a certificate of registration as an estate agent, which certificate ordinarily we expect one who is a holder to freely display in their office, so that members of the public are able to see and be satisfied that they are dealing with a bona fide estate agent. But let me add on and say that in addition to the personal certificate which is issued to an agent, we also require estate agents to display what we call a compensation fund certificate. A compensation fund certificate is like an annual license allowing one to practice for that year. So it's called a compensation fund certificate, which is issued to the firm under which the registered agent is falling under. So one is required to display that certificate as proof that for that current year, they are registered with the Eastern Regions Council. So once you have been issued a compensation fund certificate, it does not exist into perpetuity. It's only for a year. So that come end of the year, there are certain things that one has to satisfy before they are issued with another certificate for the following year. So for example, it will require that one has got a clean trust account audit. We handle funds on behalf of the public, and we need to be able to satisfy that at the end of a period, the funds that we are holding on behalf of the public are safe and secure, which is where the audit comes in.
So, having said that, in the press we have seen that a number of agents have been blacklisted for some reason. Why? Probably, can you please explain to the public why some agents are being blacklisted, and probably how many agencies have been blacklisted this year so far?
Okay, thank you very much, Magana. The blacklisting process is a continuous process that we do from time to time, so that we weed out people who are not bona fide. So the blacklisting is for a number of reasons, but the most important reasons are like two, which is that either one does not, a firm does not have a registered estate agent under their employment at that moment in time. And secondly, that one has not been issued with a compensation fund certificate for the year. So you have not been issued a compensation fund certificate, maybe because your trust account audit did not come out clean, or you don't have a registered estate agent at that point in time. You were asking how many agents have been affected. Currently, I think as many as 79 agents, not only agents, even people who have been trying to practice as agents when they are not, they also caught up in that blitz or that blacklist. So as many as 79 being firms and individuals were included in that blacklist.
Okay, so we have got our relatives in the diaspora who are buying properties back home here in Zimbabwe, and they've been falling prey of these bogus, if I can say bogus, agencies who are claiming to be real agents. What will be your word to the people in the diaspora pertaining on the safety of buying property in Zimbabwe?
Yes, thank you very much. Our advice to the members of the public, particularly those in the diaspora, would be to say that before they part away with their money, they need to be satisfied that they are dealing with a bona fide estate agent. To start with, we expect that people who are outside the country, they appoint people to handle transactions on their behalf through what is called a power of attorney. So you are giving authority to someone here in Zimbabwe to handle the transaction on your behalf whilst you are away. So one, that person that has been given power of attorney must be satisfied that the property that they want to purchase is legit. And secondly, that the estate agent who is handling that sale is indeed bona fide as well. How do you check that? We expect members of the public to, from time to time, phone the Estate Agents Council. Our offices are in at Newlands Shopping Center, at Mon Report Building, and verify that an agent that they intend to deal with is legit. And buying a property is a lifelong investment decision that people take. You agree with me that we most of us cannot afford buying more than one property in our lifetime.
Sure.
So that decision that you take must ensure that you are doing it prudently without having to lose your money. So one, there are also institutions where we expect people to be able to check with on the authenticity of a property. For example, the deeds office, surveyor general office, local authorities. One will be able to verify on the existence or non-existence of the property that they want to purchase. But too often we find that people have got a tendency of rushing to part away with their money without having done the necessary due diligence. So the public should check that the agent that they are dealing with has got a valid current year, I must emphasize, current year compensation fund certificate. And like I said, they can always check with our office. Can I also emphasize the fact that the public should avoid being duped by fraudsters who display in their offices various certificates of incorporation and the like. There's nothing wrong. In fact, one is supposed to be incorporated in terms of having a certificate of incorporation and other company documents. But those documents don't allow a person to trade in estate agents. It is the compensation fund certificate which is quite critical and for which the public must always request to see. The moment you ask an agent to say, can I see your compensation fund certificate, and they become jittery, surely be warned.
Sure.
Yes.
So, all right, Mr. Keeper. So, having warned the public on the safety when one needs to buy property, probably you would also want to mention a little bit on, say, other properties besides land. Probably,
Yes.
would you have?
Sure, yes. It appears much of the fraudulent activity that has taken place has tended to be on land because land at times it may be very difficult to prove who is the owner. But a house which is already existing, one can always actually go and check who exactly the owner of the property is. So yes, the same due diligence that we expect to be applied on land, we would expect it to also then apply on other types of properties, whether it's commercial and industrial or residential. We require people to physically visit and inspect the property. Too often, we have also had instances where when the transaction has gone through, someone then comes back and say, but you didn't show me this and that and that. We expect people to have been able to visit and thoroughly inspect the property. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Keeper, for your time.
Thank you.
And I'm sure members of the public have been warned of measures to take when one wants to buy property. This is Business Brief. I am Akanaka Masengama. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, do stay safe.